Hey guys, what's going on? I'm back with another Fan Hub video, and we're taking a look at the Canberra Raiders right now. And this is like the third time I've tried to do this, because each other time some bullshit has like popped up on my computer and like screwed up the recording. Oh fucking hell! But so here we go. Third time's a charm. But Josh Hodgson rated 90 overall. I'm not gonna talk, like I said in the last video. I'm not gonna talk about the ratings too much because, you know, I'm pretty happy with it, but Josh Hodgson to not be a 90, that's like saying he's pretty much one of the best hookers in the game, which is not true. You know, he's a solid player. I think he's extremely overrated, but he's not 90. He's not one of the best dummy halves in the game, not by a mile. But the likeness is good. Jared Croker, a very good center, although his defense is definitely lacking, but I'm sure he'll work on that. Like, you know, most people. But yeah, good player. The likeness is good. I mean, I think anyone with a headgear is pretty easy to do the likeness in reality, but still decent. Jack Whiten, another good young player. I mean, the Raiders have a pretty decent team now, don't they? I mean, it's always been said that they can't attract the superstars, but they've got a lot of good young players. I guess the main thing with Raiders is not being able to keep those young players, but they do have a pretty decent side on paper. This Jack Whiten looks pretty good though, I've got to say. Josh Papale, one of my favourite players. This looks really good actually. And the good thing with doing this series is that, like when I did the community creative players, a lot of teams like the Raiders and Sharks and just a lot of those sorts of teams, they had hardly no players done at all. So it's good to get some official likenesses that look good. So this Papale is excellent. Scissor Wanger, obviously from the Melbourne Storm, and I really like his boots. For some reason his boots just stood out to me, but the likeness is really good. It looks pretty spot on, honestly. I'm very happy with that. Yeah, looks really good. Blake Austin, I've seen a good creative play on the community, and this one is outstanding. I mean, this one has the tattoos as well, which make it even better. But just overall, it's outstanding. This is one of the best likenesses in the game, and I feel like Austin, he's one of those guys that's very unique looking. So, but they have done an excellent job. Looks really good. Shannon Boyd, rated pretty highly. Like I said, I'm not going to go through the likenesses, but 86 is pretty high for Shannon Boyd. I was happy with like pretty much all the starting players being like mid to high 80s, but Shannon Boyd, does he start for the Raiders? I thought he was more of an interchange player. Maybe he does start, but I feel like 86 is pretty high. Edric Lee, bit of an unknown, but like it's funny, when the third Origin game was on, I thought it was a joke when someone told me he was the 18th man, but then lo and behold, he was the 18th man. I couldn't believe it. But he is obviously a very talented player. I still think he needs a bit of work, but he's a good player. Like he could be something special. So, and he's Queenslander, so hopefully he does become that superstar. I think the likeness is pretty good. Joseph Leilua, I really like Leilua as a player. You know, aggressive players like Leilua, Mad Eye, Hodges, just those aggressive type, you know, players. I really like watching, and Leilua is just a beast, honestly. Really good. I'm surprised the Knights let him go, honestly. Like, I heard that they were saying he wasn't in good form and stuff. I thought he was like one of their better players. The Raiders, I think the Raiders have done very well to pick up Leilua. I think it'll be very good for that team. The likeness is pretty good. I don't know about the hair, but I think overall the likeness is pretty decent. Frank Paul Nuasala, again another good signing from the Raiders. A really good player. Like, he's just one of those guys that isn't that skillful, but he just runs hard, tackles hard, and it's just one of those guys you need on your team. Like, it's good to have the fancy offloads, the steps, but you need some battering rams on your team, and he he is top of the list in that regard. He is a monster, honestly. The likeness is pretty decent too. Got some sick tats though. I do like some of the tats in this game. I haven't actually gone through and like seen all the different tats, but the ones I've seen have looked pretty good. Ico Soliola, again another guy that the Raiders have signed. Really good player. I remember when he played for the Roosters, he was like one of the best offloaders in the game back when he used to play for the Roosters. He was very skillful, and he's come to the Raiders and a bit of a hitman for them this year. But yeah, very good player. Like obviously he went to, I don't know why he left the Roosters to England. I guess the Roosters didn't want him, but I always thought he was a really good player. So the Raiders picked him up probably for pretty cheaply. Well, not cheap, but probably less than he's worth. Paul Vaughn, one of these guys that have come through and had a bit of a mark on the game. I didn't know he had a tattoo like that, honestly, but looks pretty stylish. Likeness is really good, actually. I think it looks pretty similar to him. Sean Fenson, just a tackling machine. Old Fenson. Likeness, really well done, I think. I think that looks like him. You know, you'll see with these videos that the likenesses are very good. You know, there won't be that many players that I'll be replacing with created players. Maybe the odd second string player that gets done well, but most of the top line players are done pretty decently from the developers. Jordan Rapana, again, well done. I think it looks good. Sam Williams, again, just I think that looks pretty good. Kurt Baptiste, I always like Baptiste. You know, he's very quick, and he's a good defender. He hasn't really nailed down the spot. I mean, Hodgson has already got ahead of Baptiste at the Raiders, but I've always liked Baptiste. I think he's a good hooker. I think the likeness is pretty decent. Mitchell Cornish, a young half for the Raiders. Pretty good likeness. We'll look at a few more. They've got there's so many players. Glenn Buttress, let's have a look at him. Actually, yeah, that's the name, Glenn Buttress. You know, he was their number one dummy half until this year. I don't know if he's playing for them at all. I don't know if he's on the bench. I'm not too sure. He was like their number one. Dave Shillington has been outstanding for the Raiders this year, and I feel like the Titans, it's a very good signing from the Titans. I feel like letting Miles go for getting Shillington, I feel like that's a great trade, honestly. I feel like Miles has passed it, but Shillington is sort of getting better. And the likeness is pretty spot on. I think it's really well done. Joel Edwards, pretty good. I mean, the likeness isn't... It's okay. I mean, they've got the red hair, but the overall probably isn't the best. We'll look at a few more. We'll look down to Branko Lee, Jared Kennedy. You know, decent. He's one of these second stringers, and as you'll see, the second stringers sort of get down to the low 80s, 70s. I feel like some are a bit high still, but you know, you'll have to play the game to really understand how stats affect it. So I'm not really gonna go through my opinions on the stats. I think they're fine at the moment. Maybe everyone's a bit too high at the moment, bring everyone down a bit, but that's just my view. We'll see how it plays, and then we can talk about that. Bill Tupou hasn't really played for the Raiders at all. You know, he's sort of been, these young guys on the wings have sort of taken his spot. Came from the Warriors, obviously. I think so. He was at the Warriors, wasn't he, Bill Tupou? I think so. Is he related to Daniel Tupou from the Roosters? I'm not too sure. I don't think he is, but he might be. I know a lot of guys in rugby league are, you know, second cousin, third cousins, you know, they're all related somewhere. Branko Lee. Yeah, so that's the Raiders done. And yes, third time is the charm. yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one.